Have you ever noticed the peculiar reaction some men exhibit when a woman casually brings up her past relationships? It's almost as if they've stumbled onto a psychological minefield for which they were woefully unprepared. In an instant, their confidence appears to falter, their pupils dilate, and they launch into a mental maze of considerations, debating whether to flee or to stay engaged. This begs the question, why does a woman's so-called body count evoke such a visceral response in certain men? The answer transcends mere ego. It delves into deeper, more primal instincts and, in some instances, can be construed as a form of psychological warfare. Stay tuned, because what follows is a fascinating exploration of this intricate dynamic. The male instinct at play. To comprehend this phenomenon, we must first consider the hardwired instincts that govern human behavior. Despite men's efforts to rationalize their feelings, human evolution has significantly influenced their dating inclinations in ways that often defy awareness. Historically, men have had a vested interest in ensuring that their offspring are biologically theirs, a concern that existed long before the advent of DNA testing. In ancient times, the most reliable strategy for achieving this certainty was to seek partners with fewer past relationships, thereby minimizing the potential for uncertainty surrounding paternity. This leads us to the principle of paternity assurance. From a biological standpoint, men have evolved to be discerning regarding their romantic partners. The notion is simple: the more partners a woman has had, the louder the subconscious alarm bells ring as the quest for certainty becomes paramount. The perceived psychological factors. However, the issue is not solely rooted in evolutionary biology. It also encompasses psychological perceptions. A man may fear that a woman with a high body count views relationships as transient and easily disposable. He might think that her varied experiences render her ill-suited for a long-term commitment, akin to a seasoned traveler who struggles to appreciate the charm of a quaint small town after exploring the vastness of the world. Furthermore, the dreaded comparison factor often looms large in the minds of men. No man relishes the idea of competing against an invisible lineup of past lovers, fearing that he will inevitably fall short of the standards set by those who came before him. If a woman has had numerous partners, some men may worry that she will draw unfavorable comparisons, whether regarding physical intimacy, emotional connectivity, or even financial stability. The social stigma. The societal narrative surrounding relationships is complex and often contradictory. On one hand, society champions the ideals of freedom and personal choice. On the other, it perpetuates a double standard. A man who engages in casual relationships is often viewed as a conqueror, while a woman with a similar history may be subjected to judgment and scrutiny. This deeply ingrained social stigma influences many men's attitudes toward long-term commitment, creating a precarious balancing act between personal desires and societal expectations. Furthermore, the impact of peer pressure can shape men's choices, leading them to conform to what they believe is socially acceptable behavior rather than pursuing what genuinely resonates with them. Additionally, men are not immune to the fear of judgment, not just from their partners, but also from their peers, family, and even future generations. The thought of friends whispering about their girlfriend or wife's history can stoke anxiety and lead some men to reconsider their romantic pursuits altogether. This fear of social ostracism can create a reluctance to engage in open and honest conversations about relationships, further perpetuating miscommunication and misunderstanding between partners. The emotional baggage theory. Another layer to this issue is the perception that a high body count equates to emotional baggage. While this correlation is not universally valid, perception can wield significant power. Men may find themselves pondering the extent of a woman's past heartbreaks and disappointments. They might wonder whether she has developed emotional barriers so formidable that genuine closeness becomes nearly impossible. This concern can lead to a hesitance in fully investing in the relationship, as the man may fear that he will be unable to penetrate those walls. Consequently, the fear of emotional baggage can create a self-fulfilling prophecy where men withdraw emotionally, thus preventing a deeper connection from forming. For some men, the prospect of entering a relationship with someone who carries emotional scars from previous relationships can be daunting. It raises concerns about whether they will be held accountable for the mistakes of past partners. This apprehension is not merely a reflection of insecurity, it's a contemplation of whether they are embarking on a relationship with someone who may be emotionally drained. Ultimately, this fear can hinder the development of a nurturing and supportive partnership, as both individuals may struggle to navigate the complexities of past experiences. The commitment dilemma. Now let's delve into the intricacies of commitment. Some men conflate a high number of past partners with an inability to maintain a long-term relationship. The fear arises that a woman with extensive romantic history may struggle with monogamy, leading to a swift decline in the novelty of the relationship and ultimately dissatisfaction. Such assumptions can create an environment of distrust where men feel compelled to second-guess their partner's intentions and fidelity. This can lead to unnecessary tension and conflict within the relationship as underlying insecurities surface. It is essential to clarify that not every woman with a rich dating history is incapable of long-lasting love. However, in the male psyche, a risk analysis often ensues. If she has had numerous partners, what are the odds she will remain committed? This apprehension transcends concerns about the past. It casts a shadow over the future. This mindset can prevent men from engaging fully in a relationship, as they might focus more on potential pitfalls than on the possibilities for growth and connection. The power shift in modern dating. Interestingly, we find ourselves in a period of transformation where traditional narratives are being challenged. In contemporary dating scenarios, an increasing number of men are beginning to confront and reconsider these outdated fears. Many men are adopting a more progressive stance, viewing a partner's past experiences as an asset rather than a liability. This shift reflects a growing understanding that everyone brings unique experiences to a relationship that can enrich the partnership. Moreover, as societal norms continue to evolve, the stigma surrounding a woman's sexual history is gradually diminishing, allowing for more open and honest dialogues about relationships. Ultimately, every relationship represents a unique amalgamation of trust, compatibility, and mutual respect. The fears harbored by some men, whether instinctual, psychological, or social, often boil down to personal values and individual perspectives. As men increasingly embrace vulnerability and authenticity in their relationships, they can foster deeper connections that transcend superficial judgments about past experiences. The role of media and culture. The media landscape plays a pivotal role in shaping male perceptions of female sexuality. Through movies, television, and social media, the notion that a woman's past should be scrutinized is perpetuated. This relentless barrage of unrealistic standards can leave men grappling with the pressure to conform to a fantasy that bears little resemblance to reality. The portrayal of women in various media formats often reinforces outdated stereotypes, making it challenging for men to form healthy perspectives on relationships. This ongoing narrative can distort expectations, leading to misunderstandings and dissatisfaction in real-life encounters. Moreover, influencer culture introduces a myriad of conflicting narratives about relationships. Some assert that a woman's past is inconsequential, while others maintain that it is a significant deal breaker. This lack of consensus can leave men feeling disoriented, unsure of what standards to adopt. As a result, men may find themselves oscillating between empowerment and insecurity, struggling to reconcile their own beliefs with the messages they consume. Religious and moral beliefs. For many men, personal or religious convictions significantly inform their views on this topic. Various faiths emphasize values such as purity, chastity, and commitment, creating a moral framework that shapes their dating preferences. These beliefs are often deeply embedded, complicating the separation of personal values from societal expectations. The weight of these moral considerations can create inner turmoil, leading to conflicts between personal desires and perceived ethical obligations. This struggle can manifest as hesitance or reluctance to engage in relationships that feel incompatible with their belief systems. Even in more secular environments, moral considerations come into play. Some men associate sexual experience with a lack of self-respect, believing that individuals with multiple partners may lack the qualities they seek in a long-term partner. While this belief is not universally accurate, it nonetheless impacts their dating choices. This moral lens can lead to rigid judgments that overlook the complexity of individual experiences and the growth that can come from them. Ultimately, the intertwining of personal beliefs and societal expectations can create significant barriers to open-mindedness and acceptance in romantic relationships. The fear of being just another number. At the core of many men's apprehensions lies a singular fear, the fear of being just another number. They desire to feel unique, special, and valued in their relationships. The notion of being merely one addition to a long list can evoke overwhelming anxiety. Ironically, this fear often reveals more about the individual man than it does about the woman in question. A confident man understands that his worth is not diminished by comparisons, whereas an insecure man may perceive past partners as competition rather than history. Ultimately, the most profound fear may not be rooted in a woman's past. It may stem from a man's own insecurities, readiness for commitment, and ability to measure up. This introspective journey invites us to consider the deeper layers of human relationships, where fears and expectations intertwine in complex ways.